Hello and welcome to the podcast. My name is Kasturi Bose and I am your host for today's podcast. This podcast is here to everyone aware of mental health. We all are familiar with this topic, but we also do not talk much about that. Like many people, primarily the young generation like us, go through the situation. Also, I want to talk about it so that people around there dealing with it can relate to it and get hope in a positive light. So, to know more about mental health, we have spoken with Dr. Vasuki Mathivanan. She is a renowned psychologist in Chennai and currently practices at Lima Multi-Speciality Hospital, Chennai. For the last 22 years, she has gained proficient skills and knowledge in the segment.
First one is what is mental health. So when we say mental health, no, so there are two things. That is, one is mental health, right? When we say general mental health, the mental illness is also part of it.
Okay, ma'am.
So it has different perspectives people have on mental health and mental illness. Since your question is about mental health, as per the definition of WHO,
Yes, ma'am.
there are two things. One is good mental health and poor mental health. So, poor mental health is how you normally, the way you function. So, when it is all, impacted, like the normally how you function, the way you think, the way you feel, the way you behave, it is an entirely in a negative way, or which affects your daily routine, your work and your relationships and your physical health and everything routine of your day, then that is the indication of poor mental health. Whereas if you are in a good mental health state of well-being, then your productivity will go up and your relationship, you will maintain good relationship irrespective of your stress or whatever it is. Some is you will be able to contribute to your community or society.
Yes, ma'am.
So when I say that it is people have different perspectives. Sometimes it has the culture and the traditions play a very important role. Depending on your traditions and the beliefs, you might have different ideas about how to cope up. If you see, there are cultures where this mental well-being or emotional well-being is very much related to religious or spiritual beliefs. You face with difficult situations, difficult circumstances, you use those beliefs, that is spiritual beliefs or religious beliefs to cope up. But when people have different set of beliefs and different perspectives, so that is when they start thinking or they start feeling overwhelming, depressed and frustrated and all those things, right? So when we say mental health, there are so many factors associated with that. So many factors and I think that is the next question, no? Like what is that, what are the causes of mental health?
Yes, ma'am.
So as I said that mental health problems depends on the perspective, and because of that it has wide range of causes. For an example, the person who undergone childhood abuse, or the trauma at the very young age or formative age, the way he cope up, the way he defines his mental health is very different. Rather than the person, the individual who had a very good upbringing and very pleasant childhood. So the way he perceives the mental health and the way he copes up with the situation is very, very different. So usually what we believe is that mental health, it's not that only one one factor causes the mental health. It is kind of a combination of many environmental factors. As I said, like childhood abuse, trauma, or social isolation, or if you are a person who is from a marginalized community, how you experience discrimination and all these things, stigma and racism, all these things. And also the person who experience homelessness, poor housing, or if you are a person who is a caregiver for a longer time, maybe for a person who is terminally ill. So all these things contribute to one person's mental health, or domestic violence, and or maybe something organic like organic injury or neurological conditions like epilepsy. So all these things will have an impact. So although lifestyle factors, including the work you do. So many people talk about work stress. Okay. It is not that the person who is doing the same kind of, maybe three people are doing the same kind of job, same kind of work, but it is not that 3% stress level is the same. It is all depends on the way you cook up, the diet you have, sleep rituals. See, all these things put together will affect a person's mental health. So it is important to remember that because we may not know exactly what causes someone to experience poor mental health, this doesn't mean we can just neglect that, we can just ignore that because we don't know the cause, or it is not necessary we have to take it seriously. So any such thing has to be given proper attention.
Okay.
So that helps them to identify and just recover from it.
Okay.
However, when you understand your own experiences and whatever way you prefer, it is always better to get the right information from the right person. That is one of the, because as you know that there's a very, very strong stigma in the society. The moment, I think that is also one of your questions, the moment you say that I'm going to see a counselor or psychologist or psychiatrist there, because still there's a strong stigma.
Yes, ma'am.
Definitely much better than earlier times, but still people are not very happy. You may be very comfortable saying that I'm going to see a cardiologist, I'm going to see a neurologist, but they are not very happy and not very confident in sharing that I'm going to see a psychologist today. Yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
It is very much possible. Understand the consequences and you do the cost-benefit analysis. By going to a counselor or psychologist, what is that you are gaining? Not going, what is that you are losing? If you are able to understand. See, if you see this stigma, it is not very much prevalent among maybe just say middle class people, right?
Yes,
so,
ma'am.
It is very much prevalent because they are the people who are not very clear whether I should jump into this side or that side.
Yes,
If you see that people who are very illiterate and ignorant, they are not very much worried about this stigma and people's opinion and those things. Suppose if they have any issue, they are okay to go. You may think that people from that sector, do they really seek counseling? Yes, they seek. Yes, they seek. I'm not saying everyone, but they don't come to a counselor with lot of preconceived notions. They come with a very open mind because they don't know much about this and they are not really worried about the stigma. Whereas people in the middle class or that kind of setup, they are very much bothered about the opinion, how the society is going to view at them, how they are going to perceive them. So they are very much worried, but still people are not open for counseling. And yeah, that's it. So because it is like what the other person will think. Okay, so they may label me. They may think that I'm having some serious issues. That kind of. But I have to tell you the opposite side of it also. There are people who are very open. They don't bother about all these things. They only want to fix the issues because for them the quality of life is very, very important rather than people's opinion or what other person is thinking. Confidence level is also high. They are okay to disclose or tell that yes, I am taking some help. I am taking some professional help.
Yes. One more question. Nowadays, students are also like very depressed and which leads them to suicide. So how they overcome that situation and do good in their life?
Okay. So they get lower marks, or when things don't go as the way they want, they choose this as a way to cope up, or it is like, I have to say it is a very easy way to come out of the problem. So it cannot be fixed at that point of time. So the students should be groomed from since their childhood. Their level of patience, their level of tolerance, their frustration level, all these things, because the student who has never experienced disappointment or failure in his life, he can't cope up with the situation. So how you are training and how you are grooming the students, like the parents as well as school teachers, that plays a very, very important role. Because, and also media plays a very important role here. So when you get to watch the media, the news in the media regarding suicide of a school student or college student, so you get positive as well as negative ideas.
Yes.
Positive is like, okay, see how much the parents are going through, why he is doing like that. So that gives him a kind of a perspective like this is not the way to handle such situation. The negative way is that also gives him an idea, okay, if I don't meet what I wanted to achieve, then this is one of the ways to come out of the issue.
Yes,
So when we give such news in the media, we have to be very, very mindful and very careful, because there is a lot of very, very responsible for what we are giving in the media. Because the person who is in a very vulnerable state, he may not be in a position to see whether it is right or wrong. For him, he is looking for some solution, answers. So if he is able to get that kind of an answer or solution from a media, then that's it. He will be very much convinced.
Yes,
So many students are choosing this. It is kind of a peer pressure, and also we call this as also one of the situation learned helplessness.
Okay, ma'am.
Because if you see this, approximately 10 lakh people die each year from suicide.
Yes, ma'am.
So that means that is one person every 40 seconds.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, last question. How we should take care of our mental health?
Right? First of all, you have to be very, have a very concrete ideas, concrete thought about maintaining the mental health and the need to maintain a mental health. So first of all, you should know what is mental health, why it is important, or what is the significance of having good mental health. That understanding and that knowledge and that education is very, very important. And you should understand how poor mental health will impact all other aspects in your life. And also what are the healthier way. Especially there should be a lot of, even your parents should be a good role model. Elders in the family should be a good role model. And also when you read newspapers, and when we watch television news, you get to know like what are the different ways it can be taken care. Because there are a lot of awareness and a lot of information is shared in this media.
Yes, ma'am.
And first of all, understand whether it is from an authentic source. That is very important.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Because mental health or maintaining mental health doesn't happen in 1 month or 1 day. It should be a kind of a continuous ongoing process in your life. There are times where you feel very vulnerable, very low. So you should have some strategies, some mechanisms to come out of it. There are times you feel very happy, and that is a time you can think like how you can help the other person, other fellow being. So that is where you just learn the community living, how you are going to contribute. That's what I said, that as per the WHO definition, it is like if you are having a good mental health or positive mental health. So that is one of the very best ways to contribute to your community, which enhances the community living.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Uh,
Thank you for your time, ma'am. At the end of the podcast, I would like to share my experience which I had gone through. So a few years back, I went through a severe depression. I slowly stopped talking to people, and as I am an introvert, it was more difficult for me to share my problem with my close ones. This is the main problem of being an introvert. It takes much time to gain the courage to explain the pain that I was going through. This is the main problem of being an introvert. It takes much time to gain the courage to explain the pain that they are going through as they live in their space and do not share much about their well-being. They just wanted to be in their space. I could not even concentrate on whatever I was doing. My appetite got changed. I did not even think of eating. Getting up from bed was a struggle for me. I nagged a lot. I just wanted to stay alone. Without any reason, I self-doubted myself. My thought about myself was, I am good for nothing. I was unable to understand what was happening to me. I could not even share my thought with my parents by thinking about what they would be there thinking if I shared my situation and whether they would understand it or not. Many questions came to my mind, so I did not share anything with them and kept dealing with the situation alone. Things got worse when I started to get suicidal thoughts. I tried to do that also, but only thought about my parent whenever I tried. I put my backward. I cried night for nights without even knowing the reason. Until 2020, I was dealing with the same situation, but the lockdown changed my life. Instead, during the lockdown, I took time for myself and asked myself what I was doing with myself and why I am wasting my life like this. Then I understood that I could not lose hope quickly and walk away like this. I used to hear calming music and concentrate on my studies to divert my mind from negative thoughts. I would not say I have cured myself. I sometimes do not get any motivation for work and I cry at nights. However, then I calm myself down and make myself understand with positive thinking. Lastly, I know it's not easy to deal with mental health related issues, and being an introvert is a challenge for us to overcome the negativity around us. At the end of the day, it's our life and we have one-time chance to live life to the fullest. If anyone is facing any mental health related issue, please contact the help desk. It is always web open, and if you are comfortable with any of your parents, speak to them. Speak to someone who will listen to you and not judge you for whatever you say. Appreciate yourself and thank God for giving us this beautiful life. Praise yourself for whatever you are now. Life is a mixture of positivity and negativity. Keeping the negativity aside, we should move forward with the positivity. If anyone is spreading negativity in their life, go away from them.